Good afternoon, everybody. For those that just dialed in at 11:56, 57, those last few minutes of silence seem to take forever, but we've reached 12 o'clock, so I think we've got a good number of people dialed in now, so we'll kick off. And a very warm welcome wherever you're calling from, whether that's from a practice or indeed an office, or from a kitchen, or a dining room, or a lounge, or a home study, wherever you are. Thank you very much for dialing in. This is the next in a series of webinars where we'll be showcasing some of the fantastic partner products that we have, that we feel will add real value to your organisations and that are now available through your EMIS account managers. My name is Jamie Cole. I work within the EMIS Partners team, and I'm joined on today's session by three colleagues and partners. We have Heather George, who's the EMIS Events Manager, who's helped to set up today's session. We have two partners from IQVIA, Dimitri Dorsky, who's the Director of Strategy, and Paul Brenchley, Commercial Manager, and both of them work within the UK and Ireland Healthcare Division. A quick word about the agenda and the format. I will kick off with the first slide, talking through set and scene around the additional COVID-19 financial reporting. I'll hand straight over to Dimitri, who'll run through several parts of the presentation, looking at how practices will record expenditure and produce submissions, and also how clinical commissioning groups can review dashboards and do some financial analysis reporting. Then it'll come back to me again, and we'll talk through next steps. How much is it? How you get hold of it? Who's using it already? And some of those important questions. Throughout the webinar itself, the attendees will remain on mute, but we do want to encourage you to ask questions. To do that, if you move your mouse, you should see a small message box on the screen in front of you. Simply type in the message there, and one of us will try and get back to you as quick as we can and publish those questions out. If we're not able to answer those questions during the actual session itself, of course, we'll make sure we follow up afterwards. We'll also produce some frequently asked questions following the session itself and a recording of it. So you've got everything to hand, we hope. So you don't need to spend too long talking through the current situation that we find ourselves in, the significant changes that have made to the current ways of working to deal with the pandemic, and some of those of which will become perhaps the new normal as we move out of this first wave of the crisis, and perhaps prepare ourselves for potential future waves. There have been several letters and updates that have been written by Sir Simon Stevens, the NHS CEO, and Amanda Pritchard, the NHS COO, regarding implementing these new measures. And there have been several updates to the guidance surrounding the financial reporting and submissions. And in the early days, and we really are talking early days, so days and weeks ago, because this has all come around very fast. Some of you may have been busy designing spreadsheets to log this information, but as we've moved through these phases of the response, the guidance on this submission and approvals has changed quite significantly. And of course, it won't surprise you to learn that it's become more complex. On the screen in front, you've got a statement here from some of the latest information dated 19th of May. Just over a week ago, in fact. I'll just draw your attention to the sentence at the bottom there, which says record keeping must meet the requirements of external audit and public and parliamentary scrutiny. So you can't really validate a spreadsheet. It's not going to be sufficient to simply log an expense value into a spreadsheet and submit that for reimbursement. The auditors will want to see a full audit trail and compliance with the guidance that's been set. And there are some challenges with managing spreadsheets, both at a local level within practices, so who has access to it, who enters the data, how are approvals managed, how are authorizations captured, and the audit trail, so who's entered what and when. And also trying to combine and collate these at a CCG level. So if you're collating 50, 60, 70 or more spreadsheets, depending on your size of the estate, every month you're collating those, analysing that expenditure, clarifying any errors or omissions, so requesting documentation, invoices, authorizations, etc. And then of course you'll have to frequently update these and modify it, because new changes come on submissions are released, and you'll need to then reflect that within those spreadsheets. So what IQVIA have developed and why we're so excited to be able to offer this to customers is a secure, simple, cloud-based cost tracker. It's hosted on the Microsoft Azure platform, so there's no download, no installations required, and it can be deployed. The logins can be set up and we can be trained within an hour. It's fully compliant with the guidance as it is today, the current guidance. It will stand up to any external audit, and IQVIA will guarantee it will remain compliant with future national submission requirements. So without further delay, now the scene is set, I'll hand over to Dimitri, who's going to demonstrate how the cost tracker is going to provide a solution to these challenges. And by the end of it, I'm sure you'll be eager to scrap your spreadsheets in favour of a single system that's going to make your life so much easier. So I'll pass over to Dimitri.
Thank you, Jamie. Right. Can you see my screen? Right, good. Right, so in front of you is the login page for the IQVIA cost tracker. And as Jamie mentioned in the introduction, the system is designed to be completely and totally web-based. So there is no installation on local PC, no configuration, no any other issues. The idea is that within the system, all I need is this link to log in, and I can access it from absolutely any PC. I can access it from my home computer. I can access it from the office. I can access it from anywhere else. So all I need is the link, the username, the password, and I'm able to log in into the system from any location and start accessing and uploading information. So if I click on login, the system takes me in, and I can immediately see for my organization, I can immediately see all the transactions related to the period that I've selected. So at the top, I can decide what period I want to look at, and the system will give me the list of every expenditure transactions recorded for this particular financial period. I've logged in as a system administrator, so I can see not only the transactions that I've recorded, but I can see the transactions that's recorded by other users. So if you notice, the column on the left-hand side tells me what user recorded the transaction. I can see when the transaction has been recorded, and I can see all the relevant information, i.e. what the money has been spent on, how much, what period, what description, and so on. So basically, in one single screen, I can see complete consolidated information for all of my expenditure for a particular period. The important thing is that as a system administrator, I have complete control over who can access the system and when. So using this simple button, I can log in into the user screen, and this is where I can create any number of additional logins for my organization. So if I wish to engage other users, if I want to make sure that other users can access the system, they can record the information, all I literally need to do, click on login, create an additional user login, provide somebody with a username and password, and we are up and running in a matter of minutes. Now, each of these transactions can be recorded directly through the user interface, and I'll show you how it's done in a minute. So I can click on Add Record button and record information directly in the system, or it can be uploaded using an Excel template. So if this information has been recorded in your financial systems, in basically any other electronic form, the information can be directly uploaded into the system, eliminating the need to enter the information twice. It's entirely and completely up to you what method you use, whether you record it manually or whether you upload it using the template. So if I click on Add Record, the system will enable me to create a transaction, and the very first thing that the system will ask me to do in here is to identify the type of expenditure. Now, this is all national definitions. They're all subject to change. So NHSI changed them on a semi-regular basis. So at the moment, this is the current list of definitions. So I'll select the cost type, I'll select the category, and I will select the revenue category. Now, as these definitions change, we'll update the software to make sure that at every point in time, you stay 100% compliant with all the national requirements. You also notice a number of additional boxes in here, so I can record information that will be important, not only for the national, but for the local audit as well. So I can put all the necessary descriptions, I can put any comments, I can identify exactly what program the expenditure was incurred for, I can identify the location, I can identify the department. So using this screen, I can record all the necessary information to make sure that when the information is audited, I can explain exactly where the cost has been incurred, how and why. The other very important element here is the supplier definition. So we can obviously use a free text. I can simply go and type the supplier name, but doing that would create a lot of mistakes and a lot of difference in spelling. The system has a complete national database of all the suppliers. So I can just type a few characters, click on the search button. The system will automatically bring the list of the suppliers, and this is where I can select the right organization, making sure that the information is recorded consistently and correctly. From the point of view of audit, this is very important because, again, one of the things that auditors would absolutely want to know is what expenditure has been spent with what organization to make sure that we're following the procurement rules. If the expenditure is pay, at the bottom, the system will automatically open the pay calculator, making it very easy to calculate expenditure without having to do a complex spreadsheet. So I can tell the system that I'm calculating estimated expenditure. I can tell the system that I'm employing somebody, let's say from the 4th of May to the 4th of June. I'm employing one person. This person is going to do 8 hours a day, 25% on social hours. Let's alter the pay scale. So let's say 0.6, and the system will automatically calculate the pay based on these parameters. I can update this information manually if I so wish, but what this enables you to do, it enables you to do the estimation very quickly without having to create any complex calculations or any additional spreadsheets. The system is designed to be very simple to use, as you can see, so it doesn't take a lot of training, it doesn't take a lot of explanation in terms of how to record the information. I can literally log in and start recording the information after looking at it for a couple of minutes. That's the basic transaction, and that information, as I mentioned before, can be recorded directly into the system through the interface, or can be uploaded into the system using Excel spreadsheet if it's already been recorded in any other electronic form. If I'm recording capital expenditure, the government requirements become significantly more complicated. To record capital expenditure, so again, let me select the category, let me select the type, and let me switch it to capital. Now I need to provide a lot more information to get capital expenditure authorized. Depending on the type of capital expenditure, the information requirement will change. So for example, if I select equipment, the system will automatically open the questionnaire at the bottom. This is the latest requirement from the NHSI on capital expenditure related to equipment. So I need to provide all of this additional information. If I change the type of capital expenditure and make it, for example, building, the questionnaire at the bottom will change. This is the information that I need to submit in dealing with capital building projects and so on. So the idea is that all the information that is required nationally and required for the audit purpose can be recorded in the system. You don't need to maintain any additional spreadsheet, any additional documents. Everything can be documented in the system, and it's fully compliant with the latest national requirements. The other very important point of the system, and I can't emphasize how important this is ability to store and record all the necessary documents. The fact that I've recorded this particular transaction is great. So I am basically telling the system that I'm spending £909 in this particular area on sick pay. But where this information is coming from, who told me what rate of sick pay should be applied? How did I get this information in the first place? Within the system, and you know this blue color indicates that the document's been attached. Within the system, using attachment screen, I can add as many documents to each transaction as I wish. So the idea is that I can attach Excel spreadsheets, emails, Microsoft Word documents, images, PDF, anything I want. The idea behind this is to make sure that everything is stored and locked in one single place. So when auditors turn up and ask the question of who authorized this transaction, why did you decide to spend this money, exactly where it's been spent, I don't need to look around the network. I don't need to try to figure out who's got this email or this document. Everything is stored, everything in one place, and therefore it's very easy to audit and very easy to follow. The other very important point in the system, as Jamie mentioned, is the point of authorization. The fact that I want to spend £8,000, that doesn't mean that I can spend £8,000. Somebody needs to have a look at it, and somebody needs to make a decision on whether we're happy with this expenditure or not, especially if the expenditure is estimated. If the expenditure has been incurred, it's already been incurred. But if it's something that I'm planning to spend, it's very important to have this oversight. It's very important for somebody to authorize this decision. And this is where the system has a sign-off mechanism. So if, as a system administrator, if I've reviewed this transaction and I've decided that yes, everything is recorded correctly, I can click on this button and the system will create a sign-off record. So you can see that the color is changed to green. The system log will indicate that the transaction was authorized by me on such and such day. And I can see the green color, which means that somebody had, I've checked it, I verified it, and I've authorized it. The other very important element in the authorization process, and this is what auditors are particularly keen on, is to make sure that the data is not changed retrospectively. So once I've submitted the information to NHSI, I then don't go back into the system and start altering the transactions. And this is the facility called sign off and lock. If I click on this button, again, the system will verify that as a system administrator, I've signed off this expenditure on such and such day, but what it will also make sure is that from this point on, the user cannot change the values in this transaction. It's very important because that enables us to ensure data consistency. It enables us to ensure that once the information is submitted, it's not changed post factum, which is one of the very important points highlighted by the auditors. Within the system, all of this information is available to the user that entered this information and to the system administrator. So once I've made this change, the user can see it immediately without having to ask me whether I did or didn't authorize, whether I did or didn't have a look at something. So the update process is real time, which means that once I've clicked on it, if the user A. Cooper was logged into the system right now, he or she would see that I've made this authorization at this particular point in time. That's the main functionality of the cost tracker. That's the main functionality of the system interface. The idea is to make it as straightforward as possible, as simple as possible, and as low maintenance as possible. From our point of view, to make sure that we make life easier in terms of recording, storing, and auditing the information. The system comes with the reporting front end. So let me quickly switch to my reporting front end. 1 second. So this is the reporting front end that comes with the system, and the reporting front end is designed using Microsoft Excel. We've deliberately done it this way to make sure that when you look at the data, when you look at the report, if you're not happy with the type of the analysis that we've produced, if you want to add, amend, change the way the information is reported, you have complete flexibility. The Excel spreadsheet isn't locked, which means that you can change the way we've created pivot tables, you can create your own reports, you can create your own analysis. Basically, there is a complete flexibility in terms of how you record and report the data. So the refresh button is connected directly to the portal. So once I clicked on this button, the system will automatically update the Excel spreadsheet with all the latest transactions recorded in the system. So you don't need to run a complicated process. The spreadsheet is designed to be fully compliant with all the national submission requirements. So this is the latest form that we are expected to submit to NHSI. They've already put out the notice that the form of submission will change for the month of June. So we're expecting the new template in the next 10 days. But that's the current form of template. That's how the information for May would have been submitted to NHSI. We've got all the templates designed to submit all the relevant capital information, so estates, clinical equipment, etc. So again, everything is designed to be fully compliant with the NHSI requirements. And we've got a number of tables designed to give you internal analysis. So this is my expenditure by department. So I can see the table and I can see the graph. This is my expenditure by location again, so I can see where the cost has been incurred. This is my expenditure by cost type, so again, I can see what I'm spending the money on. This is just a set of pivot tables, and as I said, if you want to produce any other type of analysis, if you want to see the information in a different form, everything is open. We haven't locked anything in the spreadsheet. You can modify the information and produce your own reports. The important thing is that the very last page in this spreadsheet is what we call a raw data page. And using this page, you've got direct access to the information. So if you want to see the data at the transaction level, using this page, you will certainly be able to do that. Flexibility is there. You can use the analysis that we've created, or you can certainly add your own analysis as you wish. Now, the important point to make here is this is the local reporting. So this Excel spreadsheet is designed to be used by each individual organizations locally to produce cost analysis for that specific organization. We have also developed a central reporting front end. The central reporting front end can be deployed using any number of BI technologies. We've got ClickSense, we've got ClickView, we've got Tableau, we've got Power BI. So whatever the reporting technology you choose to use, we've got the reporting front end to fit that particular platform. Right, let me share that screen. So this is the example of some of the reporting analysis. Sorry. So this is the example of some of the reporting analysis. So this is using Tableau, but as I said, exactly the same thing can be done using Power BI. It can be done using ClickView. It doesn't matter what reporting technology you prefer to use. So in one single report, as you can see, I can see expenditure across my group, area, region. It doesn't matter at what level you choose to consolidate the information. So I can see all the organizations included in my group. I can see the amount that they've incurred. I can see the amount that they're planning to incur. I can see the breakdown by organization. I can see the breakdown by period. So literally in one single reporting slide, I can see all the information across the entire group without having to consolidate any spreadsheets, without having to do any additional work. I can look at this information by different types. So I can, instead of looking at it by organization, I can look at the overall spend by type, by cost type, by department. When it comes to pay, I can see again the spend by different pay bands. The idea is that I can see it for each organization, I can see it across organizations, or I can see it across different dimensions. Using the Power BI or using any other BI tool gives you that additional flexibility to be able to quickly and easily consolidate the information across multiple organizations without having to do any additional manual work. So that's the central reporting front end designed to sit at the center, at the CCG, for example, and consolidate the data across multiple GPs or across any other regional or local central organization. That's the main functionality of the system. I think I've covered everything. I'll hand back over to Jeremy.
Thank you, Dimitri. So thanks again, Dimitri. I'm sure you'll all agree that it's a very simple but comprehensive system, as well as doing these features you've seen here. Just as a summary, I think crucially, rather than just being better than a spreadsheet, you can't validate a spreadsheet. So the IQVIA cost tracker will meet those requirements of an external audit and public and parliamentary scrutiny, which are going to be so important moving forwards. The what next and how do we get it? I'll draw your attention to the right hand side on the costings here. So we've got a table with the bandings of the numbers of practices. Obviously individual practices can go ahead and procure this, but for I guess a more consistent and comprehensive approach, CCGs may be looking to adopt a single policy for all the practices that where the submissions are coming from. So there are different bandings depending on the number of practices that you support and pricing against each of those practices. Important point on the box just below the pricing table is that clients that are purchasing this are actually submitting the cost of this COVID cost tracker as additional expenditure. So this effectively is a cost neutral purchase, which makes it all the more attractive to go ahead and bring this in. Not only are you getting a consistent approach to doing this and reimbursements more effectively managed, actually there's a cost neutral approach. To get hold of it, simply all we need is there's a small order form to complete and a purchase order. As I mentioned, we can set up the account, create the logins. We'll do that within 48 hours. There's no download, no installation. We provide some training. We can do that remotely, obviously, and you're all set up to go. There will be new releases as guidance is updated, and there'll be a help desk should you need it. And also, importantly, I think, is that this is not just a COVID related tool. It can be repurposed for other local or national projects where you need to capture, record, analyze and audit expenditure for other initiatives that you're running. So again, providing that value for money. I've got some quotations here from clients that have purchased the cost tracking tool. Very similar in nature, really simple to use, meets the requirements, easy to do it. It's a genius product. You know, that's what it's designed to be. As of, I think, Tuesday of this week, there were 26 NHS trusts and nearly 40 GP practices using it. Clearly, that's changing on a daily basis as people are moving to get this in place rapidly. The session itself, about 26 minutes in, so it's been a nice quick webinar. Really hope you've seen value in the cost tracker. Just to emphasize again, it really is providing that security and reassurance for any future audits, that you've got a system in place where you can provide that audit trail of what's been spent, when, by who. So thank you very much for listening today. We really want to hear from you. We'll provide the recordings, we'll provide some information following this webinar. There's an email inbox there that we'll monitor for any inquiries. Many of you will have EMIS account managers or contacts with representatives. Please reach out to them. I'm happy to fulfill your needs on that and get this up and running really fast. So lastly, it's a great sunny day, so please enjoy your Fridays. Hope the weather lasts into the weekend. It looks like it's going to. So thank you very much once again, and really look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.